Hi, Ken. It's great to see you. Please introduce yourself for our Toucan community.
Thanks, Antonia. Thanks for inviting me. My name is Ken Newby. I am in Edmonton, Alberta, and I work for a company called Vision RE. I'm their managing director. We're a safety company and a very thought tank kind of spirit to it, solution and collaborative. And so this we had sought out another tool to help us to do this in a virtual setting, and that's where I met you.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you and your team found Toucan specifically?
I can. I've got a graphic I'd like to share with you.
Yeah, please go for it. Screen share. I think you're our first superhost spotlight that has. Oh no, actually, you're the second, but still.
Okay. Okay. You could
Screen
pretend
share.
that was number one. I could. Yeah. Okay. So we were asking, knowing, expecting that you were going to ask this question. We went back to find our first track record of when we discovered Toucan, and this is the email or the text string that it came from. So Trevor, the other director, had found Toucan because we were struggling with our morning meetings and trying to find a way to make it mimic our office. We like the office setting, but it was missing elements when we're on Zoom. It just wasn't keeping the human feel to it. And so we were losing some of our collaboration and interactivity. And so this was the Toucan ad that he'd sent out and said, sign up using Vision or Google account. We can try it out in our morning meetings. One of the things I want to say about how dynamic we are is our philosophy is we need to engage the entire worker. Whoever the human is that we've hired, we need to hire the whole human. And this will help make sense to why this works, your platform works so well for us. So they had said, fed the cat and heading to her workout. And then I replied, I'm reading the OHS standards, the safety standards out of the British Columbia, and then I'm going to go to the federal, which obviously I'm being sarcastic for how dry this is. And then Leah comes back in to say, I'm cleaning up Cappy, and then I'll log in. What I wanted to say is that while we're working, we still can engage with what the rest of our day is. And it makes better sense for how we can help each other and who we can rely on for what kind of help at that moment. It started with us looking for a better product and ended up, and I want you to know, that next morning was our first morning meeting that we held on Toucan.
Aw,
All
that's
started from
such a
there.
that's such a great story and just so funny. I love that you can have that banter with each other. I'm curious because you all use Toucan in a pretty cool, creative way. Can you elaborate on how you've come to start using the platform with your whole company?
Okay, I can. I'm going to start with the second way we use it, which
Okay.
is we have what we call connections. And that's where we bring clients, we bring in interviews. This morning we had 3 different interviews with people we were looking to hire. And so we have this connection space, a space called connections, and we're much more open with having that password out there. Hey, client of ours, why don't you just meet us in connections? And 30 seconds later, we're all there.
Nice.
So that's been very handy. The real cool part about what we're doing is our virtual office. This has been fantastic for that. So how we set up our office is trying to mimic our physical office. For instance, we have what we call pods. We have an open office space of 3 desks, 3 people in a space. This room has 3. Technically, they have 4 desks, but they have 3 desks or 3 people would be in one room.
Yeah.
If there's more than 3, it just gets too noisy. It's hard when 3 people are on the phone. Conversations are too close. And we feel that 3 is the perfect number, especially for that chance moment to say, wait a minute, I'm having writer's block here. Turn around and say, and show it up on the larger screen. Well, always at the larger screen, what is this? Does this make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of conversations are what we're trying to get back. And that's what Toucan is doing for us. So we have these, what we call pods, and we've created bubbles, pod 1, pod 2, pod 3. And
Cute.
so we started our day.
Meeting spots, you mean? Like the purple meeting spots. Yeah, cool.
Meeting spots. Like right now we're in Why I Love Toucan. In our office setting, we would have that, maybe it's pod number 1, and I would start out my day there if nobody else is, depending on who started and where they are. So I would start in, introduce myself. Hey, how's it going? How's your day going? Quick banter that you would expect to have when you enter your office space on the way to your desk. And we also, though, recognize that we have to get work done. And we're very productive in a collaborative setting, but some things need focus. You need quiet, or better yet, you need to blast your tunes if you really want to get it done.
Oh, yeah.
And so we'll jump over into another meeting space that we would have named office door open, office door ajar, office door closed. If we really need to focus, we're in door closed. If we're interruptible, we're in door ajar. Hey, come on in and interrupt me anytime we go to one of the door opens, and we hang out there. It's a message to the rest of us that you can interrupt us, but we need to focus. We're trying to do something.
And each person has their own office.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And soon you've got some innovations coming up that we're going to take advantage of at Talking with Evo. But soon, when we get more people on board, and as we get to about 10, we will just have offices that are named in those buckets. We'll have meeting spaces that'll be door open, door closed, door ajar.
Love it.
So we can just grab another door ajar.
That's fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about what you were doing before you found Toucan, and how Toucan's different, how it's really changed? You've alluded to it. You've talked about how it's kind of brought that spark back, but I'm wondering what your solution was before.
So our initial solution was Zoom, because it was more name brand, and it didn't work for us. And I'm not here it has some great settings for its place. Sure. I'm not here to discount it, but it wasn't really working for us. It was more complicated to set up a routine meeting. We evolved into Google. We are a Google company in terms of our suite platform, and we use it very often while we're in Toucan. A typical day might be, for instance, Leah had just helped us get a proposal together for Monday last week, and we were in a rush to get this going, and we were on Toucan in the same meeting pod. At the same time, we were all in the same Google document. So a neat function of there, because we're collaborative, and my role was Leah was in charge of that project, so my role was to make sure all the dollars were filled in, and we had appropriate amounts, and that was there. Leah had taken on our scope, and Trevor was working through the overall formatting. We're in a limited time schedule, and all three of us were in there. Yeah. What was helpful with Toucan is that we can stop and have the conversation. And we'll often be speaking through Toucan, focusing on where we are and where the others are and what they're working on, and then jump back into a visual for us.
Wonderful.
There's another element that's worked well for us. We didn't discover until about 2 weeks ago, is that while we were in the same document, we would post or present up onto the screen that document. It was easier to get their attention to where we needed them to go. Even though they're in the same document, they would go there, we would meet there. So it was interesting to use the presentation as our roadmap for where and what we needed to look at.
That's really cool, and that's very innovative. I think that's a fantastic idea, because sometimes you're not in the document, or it's not your job to be in the document, but you're following along, and it's helpful to have an extra pair of eyes, and you can stay on one tab. That's excellent. I'm curious to know what your other coworkers think of Toucan and how the experience has been for them, because you've kind of risen up as this super host, and I know that Leah is also a super host, but just the other folks that you work with, what are their thoughts?
We've not had anything negative come out of this. Mostly what we're hearing is, wow, we want to be a part of that. For instance, for our interviews this morning, hey, here's how we're doing this. Here's how the interview goes. Here's how Toucan works. Come on in. We're doing this. And they want to work for us. They want to work with us because this is cool. And we feel that gives us a competitive advantage. We want people to want to work here. We want to work here. Toucan's helping us do it. This has been a fantastic product for us.
That means so much. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad that we can help do that for you. That's our goal. My next question is, what's the experience like for you as a host, and what's your favorite feature?
Wow. So favorite feature is being able to come and go at your own leisure. Mm-hmm. In Google, you have to exit or enter back in. In Zoom, you don't have the choice to move around, and it comes down to that choice. By the way, we have a meeting spot called water cooler.
Cute, of course.
No rules.
Perfect.
It's just the water.
Always
cooler.
Open. It's always open.
So for us, it's important for us to re-engage that office etiquette. Mm-hmm. We aren't looking to lock people out of our space. We want them to make that decision. We want them to say, how do I need to interact with Ken? And that's what the meeting spots are helping us communicate. Yeah. I need to focus on this work. Here's how you can interact with me.
That's great.
It's helped bringing us back in. By the way, we don't intend, after this pandemic is done with us, we're not going back. The virtual office is still going to be there.
Wow.
It's too frequent that even if one of a team member has to be on site that day, we don't want to lose the collaboration just because they happen to be in a different venue. We don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. We'll be here.
Yeah, I'm loving it. And so I think the meeting, when he came out with spaces, that was very innovative to know it's there. Yeah. So there's another function. We're on the road, and there'll be a phone call, and it'll be, let's meet in the office. Let's meet in spaces.
And you can, even from the road, anywhere.
It's just so much easier to say that, and it's communicated. We know where we're going to be. It's like going to the office, just not having to go there.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Do you have any advice for first-time hosts or first-time creators of spaces?
Wow. My advice would be innovative. This is working for us because we are a different dynamic organization than most. This is meant to mimic you and how you work, how you live, or how you play, or how you interact in community groups, or whatever it is that you're using it for. My advice is innovate with you. There are ways for you to bring back that life, and it's going to be so much more ability to interact with people now that we're used to a virtual or semi-virtual. This is going to accelerate. We'll be able to get more done.
Wow. And my last question, at least for now, for you, is what do you want to see next?
Wow. We had talked about looking at being able to change or give permissions out to be able to change names of your office. That's a neat touch if you can say, this is Ken's office. Although I want to say that last week, I was meeting with Leah. I came back in. She's in my office. She's in Ken's. I went in there. What are you doing in my office? This is.
Nothing's just yours anymore. There's no personal space.
Nothing was taken. Everything was in the same place.
That's so funny.
So being able to change the names on meeting spots,
Mhm.
but from our perspective, it won't matter because we can just have offices that are door open, door closed, or ajar.
Mhm.
And there's always a way. There's always a way. Those are convenience features at this point.
There is always a way. I think the way that you use Toucan is so creative. And you come to our social every week and you always have fantastic ideas. You come in and you say, "Hey, Antonia, we've started using it in a different way, and let me tell you about that." And so I'm really inspired by what you've been able to do with your team and how open minded you are. So thank you for all of the energy, all the creativity, for the great ideas. And just please keep coming back and please share them with us because you help us build a better platform. Seriously.
You bet. And anyone else watching, if you can go to those Thursday afternoons and get an invite for them, there are a lot of people using it in different ways.
Yeah.
You can see some of the innovation. And I'm curious for you, whoever's watching, how are you going to use it? Because I want to learn from that.
If you are watching this video and don't already get the invites to the Thursday socials, please email me, DM me, reach out, and I will make sure that you get on that email list. But
very fun.
Thank you so much, Ken. This has been wonderful. I love learning from you, and I will definitely be in touch soon. And please reach out to me also if you want to get in touch with Ken, because Ken has a lot to teach Toucan users, Toucan hosts, wannabe super hosts, if you will.
And we're happy to share any of our tips or tricks that help. Did I tell you we even made an office etiquette for virtual office settings? So we actually have a policy on that.
There we go. That's something that totally should get shared. I will reach out to you about that too, because we could share that if you're okay with it. But we'd love to pass that around. So thank you so much, Ken. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you at next week's social.
Great. Thanks, Antonia, and thanks for inviting me.
Of course. Bye.